Man, I need a vacation from my vacation. Of the 6 days I took off last week, 5 of them had some serious multi-hour-long engagements I had to wake up early for and spend a lot of time and energy on. But I'm here and I've got a lot to talk about. For starters, we are just a couple weeks away from the channel's 3-year anniversary. And while we've already grown more this year than the last 2, if we can get to 14,000 subscribers by August 8th, my channel this year will grow 50% more than both our previous years. So, your likes! Please give. And if you enjoy this video by the end and you aren't subscribed already, please consider it. And I think this will be the first time I'll ever have covered the reveals from TFCon. And while the vast majority of them will be third-party, I hope you enjoy my thoughts on these nonetheless. We're just going off the TF Wiki order since I'm going off their lists, since I obviously didn't go to TFCon myself. Real talk, I've never been to any convention ever, but that's beside the point. Make Toys G2 Ramjet. While I still like these colors, I can't say that I'm all that interested in paying well over $100 for a version of Ramjet that looks more like Dirge. I think Make Toys is really over-leveraging their Seeker mold at this point. This thing appeals to the most niche of niche audiences, and it's not going to turn much of a profit. Then there's this thing that I'm referring to as Optimus Primal, cause what? It's a more robotic version of Optimus Primal that's not supposed to be a version of the character's Cybertronian form. It looks like a deluxe, and it looks cheap. I want to like this a lot more than I do. I swear I've seen that gun come with a different knockoff before. Oh, I totally did. I'm only just realizing this now, but that's totally the Make Toys Machine Eagles gun. I swear it's the same one. The monkey mode is balls ugly. I do not like looking at it. Though it does feel like what someone in the 90s would have CGI'd a gorilla to look like. Monkey with a gun! From the side, you can really see just how much nothing this thing is doing to transform. Basically spin it at the waist, spin the feet, and swap the heads, and that's it. I feel like this is meant to be sold directly from eBay. Why would you even show this at TFCon? And then for some reason, they included just a shot of their background. It's a nice background and all, looks like something made for Diaclone, but then there's just a whole bunch of garbage to the right. Why would you do this? Then there's the New Age sludge getting shown off, which I think is the Toy Deco version. I really hope that's not the head on the normal one. It's haunting and unpleasant. You gotta love how this isn't even out yet, and New Age has got a New Age, showing off just how much they plan to flog this thing with a million repaints. Love the cartoon one. He's the only one with one foot on backwards. And damn it, why do I want this crystal version so much? Dr. Wu is here with their brand of incredibly small Transformer stuff, starting with their scraplets from Prime. I can't say that I'm super enthused to pick these up, but I'm sure that for some collectors out there, these will be a must-have. Then they're making a teeny tiny Ultra Magnus, which looks amazing. How did they make it so minuscule and so good? They truly are masters of the craft of small. It even does the armoring gimmick and everything, though it does leave Optimus Prime with blue legs hilariously. I don't even see a problem with the truck mode. This is just witchcraft. They're also making an inhalable Wheeljack, who looks infinitely better than the Earthrise version in all ways, including both robot and vehicle modes. How the hell could they get the proportions so right on something this small, when Hasbro couldn't do so on something easily 5 times the size, that they then also completely fucked the alt mode up on? If you want a Wheeljack to go with a Titan, here's your boy. They are also making a Perceptor. Again, no notes. It's basically perfect. It's more convincing looking than the 86 figure, and that was a good toy, unlike the Wheeljack. Then there's this new company, Metagate. Terrible name. Makes me think of Facebook. But they're making what I think is a Legends class Nemesis Prime, which would be weird because they're the guys making the MP Shatter from the Bumblebee movie, so if this is Legends, they have really diversified their size classes straight out the gate. I mean, this looks fine, great for a Legends figure, though maybe it's deluxe sized, but if it is, then that alt mode is a crime. Definitely committing faux forming with that chest. And I don't know that I need a Legend scale Bumblebee movie Nemesis Prime. They're also making a Masterpiece scale, I think, movie stylized car bludgeon? ? So this company is just doing their own thing. You gotta respect them for that at least. However, you do not have to respect the result. That looks atrocious. You can tell the plastic is flimsy, the hands are built like a first generation third parties from like a decade ago at this point, and the head, woof, that's a bad head. That looks cheap and ugly as sin. Honestly, this whole thing feels like a project file that was come up with when third party first started and someone hung on to it until now. I do like the way the scabbard turns into old Japanese muskets. That's creative and cool, but man, I do not want this just based on the way it looks, let alone the fact that it's ultra confused, being a bludgeon who turns into a car rather than a tank for no reason other than because I figure they want to be like the movies, and in the movies, no one ever got their proper alt mode. Actually, no, I figured it out. It's because this is a flat retool of their movie Drift figure. Also, the engineering looks like a sin. I give this 10-to-1 odds that the transformation will be no fun whatsoever. Then there's the Cube Constructicon set. I don't know why they showed this off here, it's already out. I have this. They also appear to be doing a tiny Bumblebee movie Bumblebee, and I really only have a couple thoughts. 1, why is this not a cube? I thought that was your company's whole thing. 2, I hate the soles of his feet. And 3, that's a reasonably clean-looking alt mode for a Legends figure of this guy, even if the double ball joints in the door look terrible. Then we got a better look at the Studio Cell Cybertron, and let me just say that it is hilarious to me that last week I do a roast demands on the shitty, hideous Dreamwave Primus, and it turns out that this thing was a version of that guy all along. No! God, the colors just look so silly. He looks like an 80s era Optimus Prime themed male stripper. Oh, this really hurts my enthusiasm for this thing. He's got a cool ab crunch, but when the figure looks this dumb, it doesn't help. And neither do the planet-sized Hot Rod shoulders. Really? All this real estate and you couldn't figure out how to fit a normal shoulder joint into his arm? Outside that, it poses pretty good, but man, I can't even begin to tell you how much that is not the color scheme they should have gone with. Apparently, this was a very Constructicons heavy competition this time, because now there's a whole new set of them being announced by Studio Cell. I don't know what these are going for. I think they too might be aiming for a Dreamwave Cybertronian Constructicons vibe, especially if their Primus is anything to go off of. I can't say that these are doing much for me at this stage, but I do love how their completed Devastator has what amounts to a massing model of Mixmaster mounted there. That's kind of funny, at least. Then there's another new company called Collection Space making a female Bumblebee. And just, no, that's awful. This is just sad. I don't think I've ever seen a worse use of kibble. I think that maybe this might be an RC pre-tool given the way that all the crap on its back is shaped, but oh yeah, great idea. We'll make it a complete shell former where the entire alt mode folds up into an ugly bracket hanging off the figure's ass that for no reason is split into 2 bisected double segments that look like nothing. I hate talking so much shit on a new company. I always want these people to succeed, but this was just a fucking terrible idea from the ground up, even if the alt mode is really good. Guys, just cut your losses now. Do not produce this. I don't think anyone wants this, and it will only bankrupt you. Planet X Sludge. Okay, time to come clean. I fucking despise the IDW Dinobot designs. Grimlock was pretty good, and Slags was great, but the rest were sinfully ugly. Of all the IDW designs, I can say with certainty that theirs were the ones I hated the most. Every time they were on screen, I wanted them gone. They looked like they fell out of Beast Machines in alt mode, and in robot mode they were also incongruous. Swoop looked like a bad redesign for the Vulture from Spider-Man, and Sludge looked like an unused animated design. Why the fuck did none of them look like they belong in the same comic together, let alone the same team? I think I'm going to skip this one, guys. Robot mode is interesting at least, and hey, if you want an animated Sludge that never was, I mean, here you go. But I don't want to spend like $200 on a figure that will fit nowhere in my collection that's a follow-up to a Grimlock that has one of the worst transformations I've ever handled. Maybe this won't be anywhere near that bad, but Planet X sure didn't give me the confidence in that. Iron Factory is making a Prowl, and it blows me away that this is apparently supposed to be their samurai Prowl based on this picture, because in what way does this look anything like a samurai? All the other figures in this line had the aesthetic down to a T. This guy just looks like any normal Iron Factory figure with their usual stylization. This isn't bad, it just doesn't have any of the spice that the subline is going for. Okay, the backpack is fucking terrible, but otherwise this is fine. Then there's this guy. I forget what this guy was named. All I have to say about this is, not shiny enough, call me when it's chromed. Fans Toys. I didn't realize they hadn't finished this yet. I don't know what took them so long, or which ones of these they haven't done yet, because it feels like everyone and their grandmother has made a Superion so far. I guess it was these two. Boy, Slingshot looks even more like a bald human than normal. Nice butt head, dude. God, I can't even begin to describe how much I never want a figure of you. Also, congrats on having a shitty alt mode that looks terrible too. At least Fireflight looks pretty decent. I think the key to not having an entire robot hanging off the bottom of a jet is to have the wings on the bottom instead. And then, why is Superion in Tool Room Gray here? Wasn't the rest of him already finished? Then Fans Toys is releasing their Dead End, who, again, I swear they already did a long time ago. I swear. And can someone please pick up that phone because I fucking called it? Someone made a Motormaster with a trailer that forms the main body. And as a result, because Menasor is a stupid design, they had to come up with an entire giant second trailer to attach to the back of Motormaster. I cannot begin to express how dumb this looks. Do real trucks do this? Yes. But it's still fucking atrocious. I guess at least one company should have attempted this. There should be at least one Motormaster who the cab really is just the legs on. But man, this is still just so silly. We are getting another look at the new Eris from MMC, and I'll say what I said before, not a huge fan of the way the head looks on this one. I get that starting with Tarn, who had a mask, may have warped my view a little, but I think that every version of this character should come with some kind of mask. She just looks a little plain without. But the original figure was extremely good, and I'm sure this one will be too. And if you're more into the Armada Megs than you are Tarn, I'm sure this will suffice. Though I don't know what's taking it so long to come out. Guys, it's a repaint with a new head. This should have been out before Legacy Armada Megatron was even announced. But no, that figure's just out now, and this is still in the works. What are you doing? Then they seem to have announced a new figure in their My OC Please Do Not Steal line, so that's interesting. Hopefully whoever this is winds up being as good as the Aeriscultor was. Love that his name is ? Because I have questions. Are MMC retooling their Springer into a movie Drift? They are the kings of repaints, but this is one of the most bizarre ones they've ever done. Clearer pictures of their blades than they've shown before. It looks pretty good outside the backpack. That looks really obnoxious. Their groove looks about as weird as grooves always do. This is the one guy on the team that I'm really going, I don't want to have to buy that. Hotspot is looking good, but huge, and I think their Defensor might be overly wide, but I still foresee this replacing my other Defensor when it's finally all the way out, even if this is more boring looking, because let's face it, G1 Defensor is boring as hell. Then MMC are finally revealing their Devastator, which I may have mentioned before I've known was in the works for a good long time, but was sworn to secrecy about. What they did with the cement drum was kind of genius, but then again, this is Mastermind Creations, so why am I surprised? The render's chest looks a little plain to me, but it still looks amazing. If I have one criticism for the upcoming combined mode, which we can't get a great view of here, is that the arms are spaced really far away from the body. They should be about here, not where they actually are. While I have faith that MMC will make a great set, they've earned my confidence, I will reiterate that I don't believe that even they can make anything close to a perfect G1 Devastator without parts forming, and I think these arms are the proof of that. But it does look like they are getting as close as humanly possible, and this is still the Devastator that I want for my collection. Fuck the toy world. I will say that the size surprises me at least a little. This is a team with 6 members. How is it winding up not dwarfing the other 2 combiners who have 5? If this is an accurate representation of the scale, at least. I mean, I know Bruticus has his boots on, and this is still bigger, but I expected it even more so. Though, I guess this is a team that doesn't have one absolutely giant bot at its core like the other 2 do. Then we got this G2 guy, who, I'll be honest, I used to hate colors like this. And maybe it's just the fact that I'm turning into a nostalgic old man, but these colors are growing on me. Fans Hobby are showing off their Jetfire, and it looks really on point, though the colors are darker than I remember, but I'm sure Armada fans are losing their minds right now, especially since it can combine with their Prime. Apparently Fans Hobby are taking a crack at the minicons too, which is honestly pretty cool to me. Hopefully these are compatible with the old figures as well as the new Legacy ones. They're doing a tidal wave, and hey guys, guess what? I think we just found our Titan class tidal wave, even if Hasbro doesn't wind up doing it. I want this to appeal to me more than it does, but right now the Fans Hobby aesthetic is hurting the head a little for me. It's not that big a deal, but it's weird that the one company doing UT stuff is doing a stylized take. It can do all the stuff that we want it to though, like becoming the Dark Fleet, a power-up for Megatron, and an aircraft carrier, so this is all still pretty sick. I may finally pick up a Fans Hobby figure. They're also clearly doing an Overload, which I'm sure appeals to the people who remember this guy from the show, unlike me, who only remembers this as a toy I never had, but saw in magazines. And then I think Fans Toys is doing a Gears, disgusting, and a Pipes, which looks better than their Huffer at least. And lastly, the one official thing in this whole video, Toxitron Grimlock. I live for the shiny blue paint on this thing, though the head in gray is kind of weak sauce, and the sticker in front of the auto badge ain't a good thing. Honestly though, I have so much more patience for these colors than I do the G2/Diaclone version of Grimlock. Crazy Tiger Grimlock is just fun. And that was a lot of reveals this time, but I hope that you enjoyed the almost none of this that was mainline. I know my audience is mostly interested in Hasbro stuff, so I hope that wasn't too disappointing for you. Anyways, that's not half what I have to say, but it's enough what I have to say. And I know you know what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.